They say football lives on fine margins, but what if one team has turned those margins into their greatest weapon? Liverpool under Arne Slot have become a nightmare you cannot wake up from.
The thing I always picked up, even when Liverpool won the league, Slot kept saying, every game we had, we only won by one goal, or almost like every game had to go to 90 minutes. And he made the point of saying, in the past when City were winning leagues, sometimes the game was over after an hour. So it already tells you in his head, even though Liverpool have only not scored in one game in the Premier League since he's been there. You think, I want more goals, I want more, I want this game over after an hour, 70 minutes.
4 wins out of 5, all decided in the dying minutes.
Now, if you want to beat a team like Atletico, which is known and has an unbelievable mentality, you have to beat them with their weapon as well, and that is mentality. And I think that's what we showed again today.
Bournemouth collapsed. Newcastle silenced. Burnley destroyed.
And he's done it once again at Turf Moor. Well, they just keep on doing it.
And even Atletico Madrid Europe's masters of survival left gasping for air. This is not luck. This is a design. A plan so cold, so calculated, that no rival system seems enough to stop it. Slot has spent 450 million euros, not in chaos, but with surgical precision. Florian Wirtz to orchestrate, Frimpong to explode from the flanks, Kerkez to fortify, Leone to control, Ekitike to punish, and Nisak to finish with fire. Every signing, one blade added to an already lethal machine. Remember, this is a team that just won the Premier League by 10 points, scoring goals as if the net was theirs by birthright, playing football so fluid it looked untouchable. But Liverpool are not chasing the Premier League anymore. No, their eyes are on something far greater. This is a project built for Europe, for domination, for dynasty.
And I think the question is why? My suspicion is 2 things. I think they look at the competitive position for the first time in many years, and they see a genuine opportunity to really dominate British football and even European football.
They want to echo the 70s and 80s when Liverpool ruled England with an iron grip, and to mirror Real Madrid's empire in modern Europe. The manager is in place, the talent is overflowing, and one truth has become clear with every match they play. The new Liverpool dynasty has begun, and Arne Slot's experiment will break Europe. Arne Slot did not just arrive at Liverpool to continue what Klopp left behind.
So happy that they do so well. That was what I was hoping for. I'm in contact with some people, with Arne, texting, players texting, stuff like this. There's not 0.01% that I think, oh my God, I should still be there. Not at all. I'm more than happy not to be there because they are doing so well. That's really great. I wish them all the best. And I watch as many games as I can and could because it's great football. Even if you don't support Liverpool right now, you better watch it because it's really top football. Maybe the best balance on a lot of things in the world out there right now. I'm really happy about that.
He arrived to improve it, to reshape it into something sharper, colder, and almost impossible to break. The Dutchman became only the 5th coach in history to win the Premier League in his very first season, joining giants like Mourinho, Ancelotti, Conte, and Pellegrini. And he did it, not by copying the past, but by daring to evolve. The first great adjustment was tactical. Klopp's eternal 4-3-3, the identity of a generation, gave way to Slot's ruthless 4-2-3-1. This single change transformed the balance of Liverpool. With Brian Gravenberch and Alex McAllister as a double pivot, the Reds found not only protection, but control. A shield that closed the channels where opposition number 9s and number 10s used to breathe. Together, they built a wall disguised as a midfield, moving in harmony, shutting down danger before it could grow. Gravenberch became a sentinel, the ever-present anchor, leading the league in interceptions, ranking him in the very best in ball recoveries. And finally, showing why the Netherlands have placed their future in his boots. McAllister, the World Cup winner, brought the fire. More tackles than almost anyone in the Premier League. The aggressor who bit into duels and reminded rivals that possession against Liverpool is nothing but an illusion. And yet, Slot's genius was not only in midfield. The line of defense became the true foundation of his dynasty dream. By bringing in Milos Kerkez and Jeremy Frimpong, he unlocked the modern weapon every super club now fears. Fullbacks who are not just defenders, but relentless engines, connecting every surge of attack while never abandoning their defensive duties. They became the heartbeat of transitions, the wings of destruction and return. Although Milo Kirkus is still wrestling with his adaptation period, finding the rhythm of Liverpool's intensity and the weight of Slot's expectations, his raw pace and aggression already hint at the weapon he will soon become. A fullback who can stretch the pitch, burn through defensive lines, and still recover his ground with discipline when the ball is lost. Behind them, Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate carried their seasons with excellence, providing the solidity that gave Liverpool an iron frame. But Slot, always thinking years ahead, already prepared for the future. Giovanni Leoni, the Italian jewel, has been entrusted to learn under Van Dijk himself, a project born from necessity with Konate destined for Real Madrid. This is not patchwork defense. It is a carefully crafted dynasty piece, one generation mentoring the next. The numbers prove it. Opponents are creating fewer clear chances. The goalkeeper is less busy, and Liverpool have cut their expected goals against by more than 16%. It may not look spectacular in raw figures, but it feels like a fortress in motion, a system so complete that rivals rarely see the cracks anymore. Arne Slot has not only rebuilt Liverpool's defense, he's also reshaped the very heart of the team in the midfield, where control of a destiny is written. Under Klopp, Liverpool were chaos incarnate, surging forward at breathtaking speed, overwhelming opponents with waves of red energy. Slot has calmed the storm without silencing it, demanding patience, demanding precision. Instead of reckless rushing, every build-up now feels deliberate, measured, like a grand chess game in motion. The difference is visible. Liverpool are producing fewer, longer passing sequences than in Klopp's days, yet their moves are more purposeful, their transitions more secure. By slowing the tempo in key phases, they've reduced the threat of being cut open on the counter, and instead have turned patient possession into a weapon. Last season, they averaged 0.28 goals per game from build-up play, almost double the year before. Proof that patience, under Slot, is not weakness, but devastation disguised. And still, Liverpool have not abandoned their legacy of speed. On the break, they remain Europe's most lethal predators.
They call it cheating in England. I don't call it cheating. Yeah, like for instance,
Salah.
Exactly. Salah is allowed to stay a little bit high. But the moment Liverpool wins the ball, they straight away have got that outlet. I think if Arsenal does something like that with him, I think you will get a lot more goals.
That's why I always go back to Havertz with that.
Mohamed Salah since last season led the league in fast break shots. Luis Diaz last season thrived in open space. And with a floating number 10, Dominic Szoboszlai fed those runs with daring passes. Liverpool's counters have reached a new level of precision and brutality. Under Slot, defense turns into attack in a heartbeat, but now it feels guided and orchestrated. The true evolution, however, has come with the arrival of Florian Wirtz. At just 22, he's already the most expensive midfielder in the Premier League history. A conductor who bends tempo to his will. Together with Szoboszlai, he has created the most unpredictable engine room in England, a midfield where imagination meets intensity, and where every opponent lives in fear of the next pass, the next sudden indecision. Around them orbit Salah, Youllnever Walkalone, and Alexander Isak, three attackers of immense mobility, always ready to explode.
A hard decision for Slot. You thought Isak was going to be your number 1, your number 9, but how Etike has come in, he can't not be number 9 right now. So what is he going to do? Because Isak's come into play.
But even in this paradise, there's one shadow. Wirtz is still searching for his rhythm under Slot. 5 matches in, he's not yet reached the heights we know he can, nor has he fully connected with Salah, the king of Anfield. It is Slot's greatest puzzle, his most urgent task, to fuse the German genius with the Egyptian legend. Because if that link clicks into place, if Wirtz and Salah truly ignite, then Liverpool will not only be unstoppable in England, they will be untouchable in Europe year after year. If Liverpool's defense has become a wall, and their midfield a theater of control, then their attack is nothing short of an execution ground. Under Slot, their forwards have been reborn, sharper, more clinical, more merciless than they were in the fading days of Klopp's final season. In 2023-24, they were wasteful at times, finishing 3rd despite creating enough to be champions. But now, that weakness has been burned away. Last season, only Diogo Jota, rest in peace, regressed in his finishing, while Mohamed Salah and Luis Diaz reminded the world why they are killers in the final third. But this season, the expectations are on another level entirely. Slot's Liverpool are armed with an attacking quartet so devastating that every record in English football feels under threat. Cody Gakpo, Youllnever Walkalone, Mohamed Salah, and Alexander Isak. 4 names that together sound like a death sentence for any defense. Already the signs are terrifying. Ekitike has exploded out of the blocks with 3 goals and an assist in just 6 matches, proving that his blend of pace and composure is tailor-made for Slot's system. Salah, the eternal king of Anfield, has 3 goals and 2 assists. still carrying a ruthless edge of a man who has ruled the Premier League for nearly a decade. Gakpo, ever the connector, has chipped in with a goal and 2 assists, showing his value as the glue between power and finesse. And looming above them all is Isak, the 125 million weapon who has just made his debut in red, ready to unleash his Scandinavian firepower on English soil. It is an attack designed to overwhelm, to punish mistakes, and even punish perfection. Slot has created a front line that does not give you 90 minutes of football. It gives you 90 minutes of fear. And yet, even with a record that no Liverpool side has ever achieved before, scoring in 39 straight matches, winning the Premier League with ease, becoming the most vertical, most direct team in world football, breaking transfer history with Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak, and carrying a Mohamed Salah still in his prime, Arne Slot is not satisfied. He does not want England, he wants Europe. 6 games into this new campaign, the message is crystal clear. Liverpool are hunting everything, everywhere, all at once. This is a team that has turned late goals into an art form. They became the only side in Premier League history to win 4 consecutive matches with goals in the last 10 minutes. Federico Chiesa at the 88th against Bournemouth. Rio Nguhoma's 100th minute strike to sink Newcastle. Soboslai's deadly free kick in the 83rd against Arsenal. Salah's penalty in the 95th versus Burnley. And Van Dijk's towering header in the 92nd on Champions League night. Each moment felt different. Each victory carved from chaos. But together, they paint a terrifying picture. Liverpool do not die. Call it fortune, call it brilliance, call it defiance. Slot has discovered how to weaponize the one thing numbers cannot measure: attitude. These goals have not followed a single pattern. Some came from genius, like Soboslai's free kick,
Soboslai's hit!
or Nguhoma's ice-cold finish. Others were born of luck, like the deflection that gave Chiesa his chance,
Comes out, oh, Chiesa!
or the handball against Burnley.
It's against Hannibal. Oh, he's given a penalty.
And one, Van Dijk's header, came from pure will, the captain refusing to let his side fall. What unites them all is serenity. Every scorer delivered in a storm, not with panic, but with calm. Chiesa and Nguhoma finished as if pressure did not exist. Salah, after missing 2 of his last penalties for Liverpool, stepped up in the 95th minute with the weight of Liverpool's history on his shoulders, and did not blink. Even Slot admitted he was unsure if the Egyptian would score, but Salah answered the doubt with ice in his veins. This is Liverpool's deadliest weapon.
Most of my time that I think about football, people think that I think about the tactic sports, but that's the opposite of what is true. The most time where I think about football is how can I find a way to bring more energy in you or bring more energy in the team. So it's a constant thought of what am I going to say tomorrow to get them going again. And sometimes I need to be hard on them, sometimes I have to give them compliments. That is what I think where my thoughts are 99% of the time.
Not just tactics, not just money, not just stars. It is the unshakable belief that in the final minute, when others suffocate, they breathe. And that, more than anything else, is why Arne Slot believes his experiment is destined to conquer Europe. Jurgen Klopp once baptized Liverpool as mentality monsters, and the title could not have been more fitting. His reign was littered with miracles born in the dying minutes, moments when games seemed lost, but Anfield's spirit refused to surrender. Even Pep Guardiola, after watching his Manchester City fall behind in the 2019-20 title race, could only shake his head and admit, if it happens once or twice, maybe it is luck. But when it happens many, many times, it is because they have this special character, this incredible quality to fight until the end. This was not flattery. It was recognition of something unique. The iron will that Klopp had injected into Liverpool's veins. And yet, the numbers tell us this character is not new, not borrowed, not a passing phase. Since the birth of the Premier League in 1992, Liverpool have scored more winners in the 90th minute or beyond than any other side. 47 times they have struck at the death, 13 more than Arsenal, their nearest challenger. It is a tradition, a legacy, a habit of survival and glory passed down from one era to the next. And in the Slot era, it has not faded. It has been reborn. Liverpool still breathe in moments when others suffocate. They still rise when logic says they should fall. Only now, under the Dutchman, this mentality has been woven into a machine that already feels unstoppable. The way this squad has been built shows just how carefully Liverpool have planned every detail.
We play in Europe, so we want to achieve things over there as well, that all these teams try to strengthen their squad. So if you do the same as we did last year, we will probably not be able to win it again. So we have to improve the players that are still there, and we've tried to bring new energy in, but also weapons, as you call it. And
the depth in midfield and attack is not about filling numbers. It's about having the right players who can actually change a game. And that's what makes this team so dangerous. Take Federico Chiesa, for example. His first season was far from smooth, but he still managed to step off the bench against Bournemouth and score the winner just 6 minutes later. Then there's Ringahoma, only 17 years old, who came on against Newcastle in the 96th minute and found the net in the 100th. That kind of impact from such a young player tells you everything about Liverpool's future. We saw it again against Burnley. Slot brought in and Jeremy Frimpong in the final moments, looking to add pace and variety. Within moments, they had already combined to create a chance. And not long after, Frimpong's cross led to the penalty that Salah converted. These moments are not just about luck. They show how Slot uses his bench as a part of the plan. Instead of substitutes simply covering gaps, they are introduced to exploit tired legs and unsettle defenses. Having players like Chiesa or Ringahoma available late in games gives Liverpool options that most teams simply don't have. And that's the real difference. Under Slot, Liverpool don't just rely on their starting 11. They can finish matches just as strongly as they begin them. Arne Slot has also made it clear that he's not afraid to take risks if it means going for the win. Against Burnley, he ended the match with what was essentially a front five of Salah, Chiesa, Ringahoma, Frimpong, and Gakpo. Behind them, he pushed Andy Robertson and Connor Bradley high as attacking fullbacks, left Szoboszlai as the lone midfielder, and even dropped Ryan Gravenberch into centre back alongside Van Dijk. Afterwards, Slot explained his thinking. I don't want to leave the stadium with a draw, knowing I didn't bring on every attacker I had. Against a team that parks all 11 players in their box, it's not a big risk to throw on 7 attackers. That's why we did it. That approach has an impact beyond the tactics board. It gives players confidence. Van Dijk himself admitted it after the game, saying that the trust Slot shows in his squad makes them believe they can handle the pressure, even when he overloads the attack. But Liverpool also note this can't last forever. Under Klopp, there was a period where the team became famous for falling behind and then storming back to win. It worked until, eventually, it didn't. And that collapse cost them in the title race. Slot's late gambles are exciting, but he and his staff are aware they'll need more balance if they want to sustain their dominance. This mix of risk and reward is what makes Liverpool so fascinating right now. They're not just winning, they're finding new ways to do it, even if the margins remain dangerously thin. Now that we've spoken about Slot's brilliant work last season, the huge transfer window, and the mental culture he has built inside Liverpool, a culture of never giving up when wearing the shirt.
Never gives up. The good thing is, the team they face never gives up as well.
It's time to look at the actual improvements on the pitch in these early games. Because even though Liverpool have started with 4 wins in 4 Premier League matches, the truth is that things have not fully clicked yet. One key point is that the attacking line is still developing its chemistry. But in modern football, it's just as important for new signings to understand their defensive duties. Slot still wants Liverpool to press aggressively whenever the chance is there, but the arrival of Florian Wirtz, Youllneverwalkalone Ekitike, and Alexander Isak means the timing and coordination of that pressing has to be perfect to work. At the same time, Slot has also made subtle defensive tweaks to ensure his team always has enough coverage when they don't have the ball. Last season, Liverpool's usual defensive shape often resembled a 4-2-4 mid-block. For example, in the home match against Brentford, Szoboszlai pushed high alongside Jota, while Diaz and Salah stayed wide and high. This helped block passes into the wings, and also closed off the middle. Though of course, the shape wasn't always this clear in every game, their average structure under Slot's first season was closest to a 4-2-4 or a 4-2-3-1. This year, the picture looks slightly different. Liverpool are now retreating into what looks more like a staggered 4-3-3. There are similarities to last season. Wirtz, now the number 10, still pushes up next to the striker, and Salah stays high on the right. But the big change is Cody Gakpo dropping deeper from the left wing into midfield. In fact, there were moments where Wirtz even needed reminders from teammates to hold his new position. Crucially, this tweak isn't opponent-specific. Against Newcastle, the same shape appeared, with Gakpo tucking into the midfield alongside Curtis Jones and Gravenberch. Against Bournemouth, you could see Ekitike urging Wirtz forward to join the front three, while Gakpo moved back to balance the midfield. And against Arsenal, the same pattern repeated. Wirtz advanced as the central passer, Ekitike worked the left side, and Gakpo tracked deeper. So why has Slot done this? There are clues. Last season, when the 4-2-4 shape was broken, the midfield pair could be stretched badly. A clear example came against Chelsea. Cole Palmer drifted wide, dragging Jones with him, which left a big gap between Jones and Gravenberch. That gave space for Caicedo to receive and drive forward through the middle. Another factor is protecting his own players. Salah's pressing role was debated last season, especially in relation to Trent Alexander-Arnold's 1v1 defending. Slot explained it himself after the win over Bournemouth. Mo is an incredible player, but his main strength is not following the opposition fullback. We want him high, because if the left back goes forward, Mo is free in transition. Under Klopp, Szoboszlai covered much of Salah's defensive work with his running. Wirtz, still adjusting to the Premier League's physical demands, isn't doing that job at the same level yet. So Slot has shifted the shape to protect the team's structure while giving Salah freedom to stay high. By using Gakpo's better defensive awareness and athleticism, Liverpool now have someone who can step into the midfield and cover ground when needed, allowing Salah to cheat and remain in dangerous positions. The result? Salah stays where he is most effective, but the team still keeps balance out of possession. Liverpool today stand as one of the most complete teams in world football. At the top of it all is Arne Slot, already proving himself as one of the best managers in the Premier League. His fingerprints are everywhere. Discipline, intelligence, and belief. Between the posts, Alisson Becker remains a wall, a goalkeeper of world-class level, rivaled only by David Raya in the league. In central defense, Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate form a pairing built on power and authority, a duo that commands both air and ground. On the flanks, Andy Robertson, Milos Kerkez, and Jeremy Frimpong bring exactly what modern football demands: speed, explosiveness, and balance between defense and attack. In midfield, Liverpool have the kind of variety and depth most clubs can only dream of. Ryan Gravenberch is the anchor, Dominic Szoboszlai the engine, Florian Wirtz the creator, and Alex McAllister the fighter. Together, they make up the most complete midfield in the Premier League, one that dictates rhythm and destroys transitions in equal measure. And then comes the crown jewel, the front line. Alexander Isak, the record signing, already looks like the striker built for Anfield nights. Cody Gakpo, the team's most consistent performer, adds intelligence and balance to every attack. And Mohamed Salah, the eternal pharaoh, continues to defy time itself, playing as if his prime will never end. All these pieces, all these weapons are in Slot's hands, ready to carve out a new dynasty. It is impossible not to look back to the 1970s and 1980s, when Liverpool dominated England and Europe alike. 11 league titles in that era, 4 European Cups, and countless domestic trophies defined them as the kings of football. Now, history may be about to repeat itself, because this Liverpool is not just chasing trophies. They are chasing immortality, and the Slot experiment might just deliver the second great edition of Liverpool's empire.